Clearly Reviews, and here today we're going to be talking about LED lights. LED lights are something that get used in a lot of houses, almost every house nowadays, and this is something that a lot of people are also using to grow plants. Is this safe? Is this good for the plant? And is there any health risk that comes with this? So what we actually know for sure is that LED lights will give off more blue light than they do red. What does this mean? Is this a good or bad thing? This right here is very bad. Blue light is not good for you. Let's play a clip where we can actually analyze why it's not good for you.
Mike, you cool, buddy? Mike, is everything okay? What's the matter, Mike? Mike, you have a bad dream? Blue light. That felt good.
First things first, what's blue light? Well, I have here on my whiteboard demonstrated the different colors and the wavelengths attributed to each one of them. Now, the longer the wavelength, the less health effects you're actually gonna see on your eye. So red, green, above 550, you're not gonna see as many health effects. Violet light, may have heard of UV light, that's when it starts getting dangerous, and blue light.
So we're gonna pause it right here. This is something that a lot of people are not familiar with. This is something that I've just got familiar with, so I don't expect everyone to know this. This is why we have to go over this part, and it is very essential to go over this part. If you look at a light bulb, you will be able to see that there is a reflective light that comes off of each one, whether it is a light like this where you actually are seeing almost a bluish tint, or maybe it's a light like this one. But as you can see with this one right here, it gives off more of a red reflection that is not as powerful as the LED light would be. An LED light would be much more strong, and let me show you. As you can see, this one is throwing off a lot more light. It's obviously not good for my eyes, so I'm not trying to look into it, but it's throwing off so much more light, so people see the overall effectiveness and think that it's gonna be better. Is it better though?
It's not bad. There's the optic nerve, cornea, pupil, lens, retina. Right here, when the light comes in, it goes through the eye, goes right here to the retina, and it hits. I'm gonna zoom in. Bam! Zoom in mode. These photoreceptors. These photoreceptors are what allow you to see color. And there's 4 types of these photoreceptors, 3 of them being cones, 1 of them being rods. The cones are red, green, and blue, and they allow you to see color in the daytime. Rods allow you to see at night without any color. The way that I actually memorized this in med school is C for cones, C for color, rods for dark, DR. What am I? A doctor. You're a quick learner. I love. Let's talk blue light and your health. The most evidence we have in the way that blue light affects your health is through our biological clock, also known as our circadian rhythm. Blue light actually suppresses melatonin. That's a hormone that's released in our brains to make us sleepy, to help us fall asleep at night and stay asleep during the night. Now, if you're exposing yourself to a lot of blue light at night, immediately before going to sleep, that can make you less sleepy. As you can imagine, that's problematic. All different types of light can actually suppress your melatonin hormone. That's why in all my sleep videos, I recommend keeping it as dim as possible before bedtime. But that being said, Harvard actually studied and compared blue light to green light, and they found blue light suppressed melatonin almost twice as much as green light and shifted your circadian rhythm twice as much as compared to green light. 3 hours to 1.5 hours. Now, that's not all bad news. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing I tell you guys is to open up your shades. The reason is the sunshine that has a lot of blue light in it will actually suppress that melatonin hormone, making you less sleepy, more alert, and resetting your circadian rhythm so that you can fall asleep easier for the following night.
So, he just said that there is blue light in the sunlight. Does this mean that the sunlight is bad for you? Yes, the sunlight is something that is also could be bad for you. I think everyone is aware of this by now, but I will say it just in case you aren't. Too much of anything is bad, but we do see the growth of plants being very much helped by sunlight. Sunlight is something that is going to give you plants that are much stronger, much more effective than indoor plants. And there's a lot of reasons why. Of course, the actual organic sunlight is gonna be much better, and it's better for humans as well, but this is definitely something that could be overdone as well. I would definitely say that too much of anything is no good.
Brings up an interesting dilemma, because as we're moving to become more energy efficient, we're using more LED lamps, more fluorescent lights, as opposed to the traditional incandescent light bulbs. And while that's great for the environment, that may come at a personal health cost. So how do we balance this moving forward? I think in the future, we're gonna have lamps that release blue light, but perhaps the coverings of the lamps can actually filter some of that blue light out, unless we have a major innovation in the next 5 to 10 years, which can also be a possibility. Let's talk about a couple health conditions for your eyes where blue light is not necessarily the culprit, starting off with eye strain. Digital eye strain, also known as computer vision syndrome. This happens when we're staring at a computer, TV, cell phone screen. When you do that for a long period of time, people tend to develop this eye strain, this eye fatigue. The real reason this occurs is from that intense focus that happens, leading to muscle fatigue around your eye, and also because when you're that focused, you're not blinking as much. And not blinking as much leads to more dryness, which leads to irritation, burning, stinging. And guess what? I have a few tips for you on how to battle that eye strain. 1, you want to be at least 2 feet away from your computer screen. 2, if you're going to be staring at a computer screen for a really long period of time, think about using eye lubricating drops. And 3, this one's my all-time favorite, 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, you want to stare at a point that's 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. This will allow your eyes to relax, the muscles to recover, and for your focus to regain. This is the most important step in preventing or treating digital eye strain. Macular degeneration. This is the
So, quick. This is definitely helpful. This is interesting that he says to do these different things to prevent it. I agree. I'm not going to disagree, but I will have to say that the total use of it is definitely going to still give an impact, and the only way around that is by not using them at all. Do I think this is going to happen? Do I think that people are just going to completely stop using LED lights? No, it's almost certain they're not. So I would definitely say that this is seeming to be something that is almost destined for the people, but do you have to be one of those people? No, you can definitely do alternative things to not even have to deal with those blue lights that are coming out of these different sources, such as your phone or wherever. There is loopholes around that. With that said, is it something that a lot of people are going to really strive for? I assume not. So this is definitely something that I want to share with the people, give people the chance to at least know better so they can do better. But these other steps as well that he just mentioned seem to be stuff that could help as well. But it's just seeming to be very, very interesting how people push this stuff off. And I do think it is very necessary to at least have the knowledge so you can do with it what you please.
Portion of your retina, and if you lose your macula, if you have degeneration, you actually lose the central part of your vision. There's been some evidence linking UV and blue light exposure to the acceleration of age-related macular degeneration. But here's what we actually found. It takes an enormous amount of blue light to actually do damage to this part of your retina. So if you stare at the sun where there's a tremendous amount of blue light, absolutely you can cause yourself some damage. But when we look at research and we see the amounts that you're getting from your screens, it's a lot less and probably not enough to the degree to cause significant damage. In fact, when you compare blue light exposure from electronics to aging, smoking, being overweight, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, the electronics are just a minimal risk and not something.
Well, so he's downplaying it a lot right now. Definitely very much downplaying this. Of course, anything that is putting you at risk is putting you at risk. So the downplay that is juvenile in my opinion, but it is also something that he is somewhat right about. You could get these same damages from the sun. You could get these same damages from putting pins in your eyes. Does that mean which one is worse or which one is better? I don't know. What I do know is that he just mentioned how smoking could play a factor into this. What I would say is, if you're smoking something that's grown under LED lights and it's causing these types of issues with your body overall, is there a possibility that the flower that's grown under LED lights may be able to cause some difficulties within your body, not just on the outside or just on your eyes? Is there something that it could cause inside your body?
Spend a lot of time thinking or worrying about. So how do we protect ourselves from blue light affecting our ability to fall asleep and altering our biological clocks? My recommendations actually fall in line with Harvard Public School of Health. First, get rid of the screens at least 2 hours before bedtime, maybe even 3 hours if you can. 2, use dim lights before bedtime, ideally red dim lights. Red lights are less likely to shift your circadian rhythm and affect your sleep. 3, consider blue light blocking glasses if you have late shifts or have work to do at night. Researchers from the University of Toronto actually studied this exact concept. They broke up individuals into 2 groups. The first, who were exposed to bright light while wearing blue light blocking glasses. The second group, who were exposed to dim light without any glasses. And they found their melatonin levels were exactly the same, further strengthening the concept that blue light actually suppresses your melatonin secretion.
Okay, so this was a fun video to finish off, and I wanted to give this video an opportunity to play out to the end so that everyone can hear this from a different voice and not just see that I am coming at this from a biased angle, because of course I am somewhat coming at this from a biased angle. I do think that the sun-grown flower and sun-grown products in general are going to be better, but let's get to the part where I talk about, is it possible for it to cause damages to your insides? Is this possible for it to cause something that's greater than just effects to your eyes? So yes, this actually may have a possibility of doing something that is very bad to your insides. This is still being studied by a lot of scientists and just a lot of people in general. So this isn't something that I can come here and give you bulletproof evidence on, but what I can say for sure is that LED lights could cause hormone disruption. What is hormone disruption? Basically, what hormone disruption is when a non-organic light or chemical gets into your eyes or into your body and it fools the system into thinking that it is having a different reaction. Of course, one very known thing that this could do is computer vision syndrome. This was just brought up during that video that I played, and this is definitely something that is very much known. They say that it could fool the system into different issues, which leads me to think, is this possible that if it is able to fool your eyes like this, is it also possible for it to fool your digestive system, or maybe even fool your system that is telling you that you're full? Is this possible? I have no clue. I have no way to say that it is or isn't, and I don't think a lot of people would be able to tell me that it isn't. But what they would be able to agree with me is that if it is able to fool your eyes, then it is very much possible that it could fool your digestive system. If that's the case, then there could be a lot of people that are going to have a lot of different issues with their, not only the digestive system, but their bowel movements and all of that fun stuff as well. If you are having difficulty digesting food, or if you're having difficulty having a end to when you're hungry, then you may be causing some very detrimental issues down the line. This is definitely something that is very much speculation. It is definitely something that I don't have full evidence on, but as we can see from the studies that already are out there in the wind, this is definitely something that is causing hormone disruption. If this is the case, then it is very much possible for it to cause very much is possible for it to cause very bad illnesses or diseases that would be very detrimental for a human. And as I mentioned, I don't have all the facts yet. If you know more than me, if you have something to say, let me know down in the comments. This is a topic that I want to continue to cover because this is something I see flooding all types of markets, not only cannabis, but I see it in all types of markets where people are using LED lights just to save a few dollars. Is this worth it in the end? Are these people going to fuck themselves in the end by trying to save these few dollars? I believe so. I think that usually the cheaper route is never necessarily the more effective or beneficial route, but I have also seen plenty of flower that has been grown with LED lights and it has came out smokable. So this is very interesting for me. I am very interested to see what people think about this and if they have feedback to share that would help strengthen the knowledge of the community. So stay blessed.